I just want to do a quick sketch, so to speak, and just add in a little bit of clean water to the paper. The reason why I wanted to do two is just to give me just almost like painting a set. If you want to do this sort of thing and maybe have a bit of yellow ochre, maybe have them on the wall, if that's what you want, then this is just a little idea. I've not done two paintings like this before, and so we're just gonna throw in some paint and have a little fun, and that's what it should be about. So I want almost like a set of paintings, two little paintings, and I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to see what happens on the paper. I am thinking in my head, I do have a little sort of idea, but we'll see how it pans out once I get some details in there and see how it looks. I'm just taking out some of the pigment. I'm thinking of just a little bit of a tree scene, and this is for both. So it gives me, thank you for the like, thank you for joining. Hopefully you do enjoy this one. And I'm moving quite quick. Ooh, I'm dropping my brushes as well. I'm moving quite quick, so I don't want to I want it to be quite loose as well, so that's going to be the advantage of this sort of painting. Give me that loose effect. And I may even add some pen towards the end of the painting. I'm not sure, but we'll see how things pan out. I like to live sort of on the edge. I like to do things and not really think too much, and that's sometimes pairs off with painting, and so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to add a little bit of dark here. So I want some trees, but I want things to happen naturally. I want this painting to almost paint itself, if that makes sense. If you've painted for a while, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. I've not gone crazy, not just yet. I have medication for that, so we're all good. And just a little. So it's just a light layer to start with, and I do have the water as well on the paper, so everything's going to be nice and faded. So it creates a nice little background. We'll see how we get on. Just adding a little bit more water to that. So yeah, that's the plan. So hopefully it turns out okay. I know it looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but bear with me. I do have some ideas in my head. Hopefully you can see something quite magical happen. That's the idea. Something quite magical happen as I add to this painting. But we'll see. We'll see. Things will start working, hopefully. Obviously, you got the ugly stage. Oh, hi, Susan. Hi, Karen. And who's Theo Pryor? Ah, thank you, Theo. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Karen and Susan. Some of my regular visitors, but it is nice to have new people as well. Hopefully, you're okay, Karen and Susan, and hopefully you're okay as well, Theo. Whereabouts are you joining from, Theo? I'm just adding a few rocks to this scene. This will probably bail me out if things start going a bit pear-shaped. it will probably give me something to just add something to the scene. It may help me shortly. I'm going to grab a smaller brush now. So I want to add a little bit of yellow ochre. This is just slightly more paint than before so that it doesn't bleed out too much. We have a few stronger trees. So let's see how this works, if it does. Like I said, I've never done anything like this before. So I'm just really painting off the cuff, probably more than ever. I like to do this sort of thing, but it would be interesting. I like the painting. Market, Hartford. Let me just... Harborough. Ah, okay. Harborough. I'm not familiar with where Harborough is, but I'm presuming it's somewhere down south of the UK, maybe. Let me know if I'm right. Just adding a little bit to these rocks. It's just to give a little highlight, and maybe I'll add a little something there as well. Okay, so I've got this almost abstract looking at the moment, and I'm fine with that. Just going in with paint and having a good old time. Don't really know what can happen, and that's the beauty of watercolour. Just gonna suggest a few little trees. So I've got the highlights, just scraping with the card. You can see just bits of highlight, and I'll add something to those as we progress. So things will start looking like a painting, I suppose. So if you just bear with me, it shouldn't take long to start making sense, I say. Don't really know. We'll just have to see. Okay, so when you've got this nice light background, that's the distance. So you've got the distance covered, and then I'm just adding some darker, richer tones, and this was going to be another layer to these trees. And yeah, that's the idea. So it's not the smallest of brush. I do have a liner brush. Maybe I'll grab that. But let me just see if I can scrape a few more lines. Nope, I think that's gone now. The paper's dry, so I'm not going to get much more out of that without damaging the paper. Let me take you back a little bit. You can see that. Okay, thanks for the likes. There, it would be good to see some of your painting. Please check what we can see. Is that right? Yep. Okay. Just, I don't know why, but with these lives, for me, maybe it's because I'm using my phone. Let me just adjust. It's kind of difficult to, when you got this, you gotta bring the camera up just a little tad. You gotta film it in portrait mode, which is not, it's not normally the way I paint things. I like to have a landscape format. Is that better, Karen? It's a small one, that's okay. Yeah, there's two. I've got actually two pieces of paper. I've taped them, and I want to paint them at the same time. Now, one of the reasons why I want to do that is I want continuation, and I want this to look like a set of paintings, hopefully. And so that's why I've gone with this this format. I don't know how things are going to go, so fingers crossed, hopefully I get something quite nice in the end. So I may add some pen to this, not sure, but we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go, and hopefully it can be quite nice. So just going to add, let me just swing the camera just a little bit. I'm going to add on this side first. So just a little bit of yellow. So I want it quite, in fact, no, not yellow ochre. I'm going to go for my, not my tray, but I'm going in my palette for quite a bright yellow. So this is where the sun's sort of hitting the trees, this one in particular. So just gonna stick with that for now. And another tree here. I really don't know how this is going to work, and sometimes, you know, when you do this sort of sketch or exercise, sometimes it's quite surprising how things can go in your favour. Sometimes it may not, but that's art. And you know, it doesn't matter if you do a painting and you're not happy with the result. Oftentimes there's people out there that do like it, so it's nice to just try these things, and you never know. And bear in mind that we're our own worst critics, like I usually say. So yeah, just have fun. And you know what? It doesn't really matter what happens, as long as we learn what not to do, what not to do next time, then I think we have success. I'm just going to add a little bit of green. I'm just going to pop that. I really don't know how this is going to work, but you know, I'm having a good time, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, and maybe a little bit of dark on this side, not too many. Okay, and move over to this side. This one I'm just going to add the same sort of yellow. This is just a Hansi yellow, and this is one of my M. Graham paints, which I really do love to paint with. Really nice pigments. So just spotting some yellow, and I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of, just grabbing my my M. Graham's palette again. So I'm just tapping into this green. So it's a really light mix, and I'm just going to add some of that. And maybe the same, just a little bit on this side, a bit more water. So it gives us a nice little background. I'm not really working on the sort of closer area just as of yet, but let me pull you back. Hopefully you can see that. It's quite a difficult one, really. What is the picture of? Okay, Theo. I'm just making a simple scene of some trees. I'm just throwing down the paint, seeing what happens, and then I can define some of those trees, add some light maybe in the center, that sort of thing. So I'm really sort of out of my comfort zone. It's not something that I usually do, this sort of thing, but yeah, I just thought I'd have a bit of fun and hopefully produce something that's quite nice. So I hope you enjoy this, Theo. I hope it's something. Do you paint yourself, Theo? Is that what you like to do? If so, let me know. Do you use watercolors? to use any other mediums. So I'm just going in with a little bit of burnt umber, and I've touched into a little bit of Payne's grey as well, just to give me that nice rich sort of consistency and that dark colour. And I'm letting the paint run out and break and give me that texture, which is quite nice. I'm going to go a bit more, oh, that's quite strong, but a bit more of the, I put in some neutral tint the other day into my palette. So I'm tapping into that. Keeps it tipping. I don't know what that's about. So just add in, let me pull you back over. Just add in some more, this is my liner brush or rigger, whichever you would like to call it, just to get some of those finer tree branches and trunks. Quite nice, if you can see that. So things are beginning to take a little bit of shape, which I'm happy with. And just a case of keep working and things do start to improve, things start making sense. So you got the ugly stage, and then if you just push through that, you'll just find a way to bring things back. And I know I'm a big fan of the micron pens, sort of drawing pens. So if I do run into trouble, if things start going a bit Pete Tong, then I can always grab a pen and sort of do a little bit of work just to bring things, just to make a bit more sense. And yeah, so that's one thing that I do like to do. So if you do watercolor and you don't have any pens, then I would strongly recommend grabbing some pens. And let me take you over to this side now. So just a few suggestive trees on this side. And I'm not bothered about this. You can see this feathering out. It's still wet, the paper. I'm not fussed about that. Sometimes I just let these things happen and celebrate them when they do. And just tweak things wherever I can, manipulate things where I can. I know watercolor is one of those mediums that is just so unpredictable, but I like that. And if you learn to use that, you can use that to your advantage, then it's a win-win. Just don't try and control things too much. You do have control over certain elements of the painting, but not always. And when those things that you don't have control over happen, just let it. Don't fight it. Don't try and control things, because no, it's nice to let these things happen. Now I'm going to grab some more Payne's grey, a bit more burnt umber, and I'm just going in for this rocky area. So it's nice to just let things happen, and you know, sometimes we don't have that control, and that's absolutely fine. Just find a way, and sometimes the things that we can control, just work on that. And like I say, if all else fails, you can always grab a pen and start drawing and bringing things together. Just a few sort of suggestive marks, and yeah, sometimes it's nice not to get a perfect painting. Sometimes it's nice when your eye has to interpret things, if you know what I mean. And oftentimes I'll leave things, maybe a bit of unpainted paper, a bit of random colour. It don't really mean anything. There's no rhyme or reason, but it looks nice, so that adds to the overall painting. It can add value. Let me just pop a little bit of colour into that. So let me just add a bit of very faint colour. A bit more faint. Let me take some of that out. It's nice when I actually managed to remember my tissue today for this painting. It's nice to have this because you can change the tones, you can lift out areas, and it gives that bit of atmosphere. Now, I don't know quite where I'm going with this now, but just going in. I'm just going to compromise things, and let's see. Some of these white scraped out branches, I can add some darker tones to just by those scrapes. That's a little. That's a title for a video. I reckon. Oh, what's the title? Did I miss a comment? What you're saying? It's a feature, not a bug. Oh, okay. I'm not quite with you, Karen. I'm not quite with you, but if you explain, I would love to know what you mean. I think I'll grab my liner brush for this. Quite fine. So whenever you're painting trees, I know something that I am trying to get better at is painting trees. It just pays to have some trees quite dark, quite saturated, and then, like anything, in the background you have these paler, less saturated, like it's part of it. It's not a problem. Okay. Yeah, you just got to roll with things. You just got to allow the paint to do its thing, and wherever we can intervene, we can manipulate the paint, we can turn the paper, we can adjust the angle, that sort of thing, just to let the paint move, the pigment, as we add our water. And that's really why I like to use, that's why I really like to use, I don't even know what I'm saying now, lost track. That's why I like to use plenty of water, and I like to have my paper at an angle just to get that movement. So I'm just going to suggest a few tops of these trees. And I love the way when some pigment hits water, the way it just almost melts. So I like to have some of those in the painting as well. If you can see this area here, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the beauty of watercolor. I think it's good. If you do watercolor, allow those things. Allow that. Just add the water and have these melted edges. So we often call them hard and soft edges. So it's good to have a mix of both. So you can see this area here. This is more of a hard edge, and then just add a little bit of water to that and just let it travel a little bit. And then you have this soft edge. So can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. Let's see what you're saying. Right. Okay, I'm just going to move you back in. Just going to work a little bit more on this side. So I'm allowing that pigment now to mix into the water, the wet paper. And so this could be in the background, just melting away there. Give it a nice tone and maybe a little bit of yellow ochre. I love doing this, just touching that yellow ochre into the green. And this is just a sap green. and you can see the colours that that's bringing now. So it's quite a, I wasn't sure, but to be honest, it's quite a simple scene. You're just not worrying too much about the outcome, so to speak, and just having a nice time. You can see what's happening here now, so I'm quite happy with that. With a pale mix of sap green, I'm just going to cover a couple of in between trees. Okay, and come all the way down to this bottom. I haven't decided what I'm going to do in the middle. If you have any suggestions, then let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see, I don't know, maybe, not sure, maybe this is too high, but I could do some water. Maybe on this other one, I've got a bit more of a gap for that, a bit more of an opening, so that's something I can decide. Just got to make these decisions and just go with it. Go with it. There's no right or wrong. You just sort of put the paint down, see what happens, and see what you can make. Just add in a few little sprinkles. This is just with the liner brush, so I'm getting those little fine marks, and this is giving me more of a hard edge to the foliage on these trees. And I think maybe I'm going to grab my bigger brush now. So this could be make or break, but let's see what I can do with this. So I'll just grab my tray again, show you just some of that sap green, maybe a bit of blue. This is just French ultramarine, and I'm quite happy with that colour and that sort of darkness. And I'm just going to pop in and trying to create an evergreen sort of tree. I don't know whether that's working, but you just have to trust the process. It's not okay. I don't know about that one, but let me take out some of the top just to give it a little more interest. And I think what I'm going to do is add some darker tones to that with some more French ultramarine into that mix, and just dot in some little areas. Sorry, I don't know whether I'm getting carried away now. I'm not paying attention to the camera. I'm just trying to make this work. So just spotting a few little details. Quite dark, the mix. I think with this sort of painting, I just don't want to overwork things. I want a nice sort of simple-ish scene. So I'm mindful of that. Just don't overwork things. Just spotting in some little details, twigs, branches, that sort of thing. Like I said, I'm not the best at trees, but I do try and include them in all my paintings lately, so that I can get the practice that I need to improve. So if there's something that you struggle with, something you're not quite there with, then just practice, and yeah, just keep going, keep working at it, and things may start working. I think, you know, as long as you practice, then things will start getting there. You know, nobody's born with a natural, well, I said that, my granddad was a painter, but I've still had to work to get where I am. Not that I'm the best, but it still takes practice, even if you have a natural sort of ability to do it. You can sort of develop that as well. So there's a little bit of a tree coming over. There's probably a lot of weather in this scene, a lot of weather, and this tree's just sort of given up and keeled over. And it's nice to think of these little stories when you paint, sort of think of the scene and what's going on and that sort of thing. And just a little. So hopefully I've got a little bit of depth in this as well. So there's that side. Let me bring you over to this side. If you are on this live, then please don't forget to hit that like. If you want to see more paintings like this, then you can always subscribe to my channel. Any suggestions, anything like that, please leave them in the comments. And I'll do my best to help wherever I can. If you're struggling along on this watercolor journey. And let me switch brushes now. I'm going to grab some quite dark. So I want some nice dark on the end, on the corners, which gives a nice look. Not going to go all the way, just have that disappear. I'm not checking my camera as much, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so I do apologise, I'm sort of in the painting, I'm concentrating, only because I don't usually do this sort of thing, so it's a bit of maybe a challenge for me, not sure. But yeah, I think things are beginning to take shape. And I'm quite happy the way things are going. Not sure about this tree on the other side, this evergreen. Let me switch back over here. I do apologise, but I'm just going to have to keep moving from one to the other. Just add in some. Well, you can notice the paper's still wet. The green is still. So I'm getting this nice tone bleeding into the green. So it's giving me a nice little tone, and I like doing that as well. So wet in wet is a really good technique. If you've not tried it yet, just you place your colour down, whatever you're painting, and just grab another colour and just touch it. Just, you don't have to do much. It's nice that the less the better. More, less is more, oftentimes in watercolour, and this is what I'm talking about. Just add just a little spot of it here and there and let it mingle on the paper. And sometimes you get those bits of green showing through different colours, and it can be quite nice, quite rather than mixing them on your palette. I mean, you can do that, there's no problem, but when you let things mix on the paper, it gives that nice fresh sort of look. It's really nice effect. Okay, I'm going to grab the camera. Let's go back to the other side and just Add some dark now. This is actually Payne's Grey that I'm using now. I squoze it out from my Winsor & Newton pen, so really dark, nice colour to use. I like to use this to mix with different colours just to darken those. If you want a deeper green, then you can add this to your sap green or whatever green you're using, and also whatever colour. Just a little touch of this can go a long way and make a big difference. So I'm going to just add a little bit of water to that. I'm going to a little bit of tone there. Okay, so what I'm thinking now is just a little touch of the sap green and just add in a little bit, hopefully you can see that, just a little bit of definition now to some of the trees, not all of them, because I want some of these trees to be in the background and soft, sort of disappearing, that sort of thing. And let me grab that tissue again. So glad I brought this today. It was a bit, not a disaster, but sometimes you got to compromise. If you don't have tissue to hand, then you just have to go in with clean out your brush and use a damp brush just to lift, or even a dry brush, a brush that you've not used. That works too, but yeah, hopefully you're not like me and forget things. Sometimes I have to go off in the background to stumble around trying to grab something that I have forgot. So I'm thinking a little bit of, not that much, not that bright, maybe yellow ochre. Okay, plenty of water. Let's have that going through the middle. And once the paint's dry, you don't have to worry too much about disturbing that, because, well, you just have to keep your eye on it, but oftentimes it doesn't disturb it. You can scrub along, scrub in your next colour, and nothing gets disturbed, hopefully, unless it's not dry, then sometimes it can cause a problem. So I'm just going to add some of that in this side as well. Okay. Just looking at the painting now, just seeing what I can do. It is really good for the brain, especially mine, Karen, if you're still there. Painting certainly does help. I mean, the hand-eye coordination for a start. It helps your imagination, especially if you're making the scene up. You've got to sort of tap into your imagination and think of things, and especially if you're doing live stream, if it's live, then there's a little bit of pressure there as well. But yeah, you just got to just make these decisions, think of what's going to work. Just in my Payne's Grey now. I think I'm going to add, just wondering whether I do need to, there we go. Just wondering if I do need to grab the pen, or whether I can do that in this, with this liner brush. Probably a better option to do it with this liner brush. Or just gently making those branches. Still wet on this side. I'm just adding a few strokes to that. I'm not convinced with this tree on the other side. So let's see what I can do. See what I can do for that. I'm going to bring you just over this side and let's just add a few little bits with the heck. Okay, so that's, I think that's better. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think that's a little bit better. And then I'm just going to do sort of the same on this side, just a little bit. Okay. So I think, let me just assess the painting, the overall compositions. I think I need to work on this yellow. It's a bit too vibrant. So let me add some sap green to that yellow. I've added a little bit of yellow ochre as well, just to dull that a little bit. But you know what, I'm not really that fussed, to be fair. No, it's just a quick sketch and I wanted to do this live today. Usually I like to do my lives on a Tuesday, but today it's Wednesday. Okay, just spotting in a few little details. Just soften some of those little areas. And I think I do need a little bit of yellow over on this side just to balance things a little bit. Even just a little spot can make a difference. So just a little bit on this side as well. And I think I'm going to leave it there. Just a simple, quick paint, two paintings, two for the price of one. Hope you like this one. Yes, that brush technique has really added something. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Karen. I do appreciate that. I could do many more things to this, but I don't feel the need to. I think sometimes less is more, especially with watercolors. I'm just going to take the tape off away from these and see what we've got. Like I said, if you do want to do a couple of paintings to frame, that sort of thing, then sometimes it's good to grab two. You could have these either side, get a nice frame, and you could have you know, one side of the living room and then a few feet away, something like that. You could have another one. And let me pull the camera off. But yeah, hopefully you like this one. Just a quick sketch, nothing too spectacular. Just wanted to paint some trees. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.